Hello and welcome to this edition of the Inspiring City podcast. And today we're speaking to an artist who I think probably needs no introduction. In fact, I think the first... Well, you clearly do, and it's Dan Kitchener. Hi, Dan.
Hello.
You know, Dan, I first came across your work in 2012, I think it was. Okay. And I moved down here in 2012, and It was one of the first pieces I saw. Do you remember? It was a collaboration with Airborne Mark on the Sclater Street wall.
Oh yeah, what the car park?
Yeah, on the car park, which has been...
okay. Was that when I did the tube tunnel?
I think you did the tube tunnel.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And there's like some sort of weird monster thing going on.
Yeah, that's what Mark does. Yeah. Yeah, no, I remember that. Yeah, that's quite a while back, isn't it?
It's one of the first pieces I saw, and I always remember that. I thought, blimey, that's impactful.
Yeah, and different. It's moved on now from the stuff that I do, but yeah.
So how would you describe your style now?
Oh dear, that's a question, isn't it? More. It's really hard to say. I paint what I enjoy painting, so it's kind of it's things that excite me at the time. So at that time, I was really into that sort of. It's always about light, basically. It's always light and shadows, light and dark, that kind of thing. So at that time, I was really into the sort of idea of tube tunnels and the way that light, casts all these dark shadows, and you get this really nice sense of atmosphere and mood. But now it's kind of gone into maybe a lot more positive, colourful. I think it's colour. I wanted to definitely get colour in. I knew I was neglecting a huge palette, just going for grayscale and things like that. So it's kind of always had that in mind, this colour palette, and then I kind of sort of jumped into that. And so it's the same. I guess essentially, I probably contradicted myself, but it's the same kind of idea, but just using colour, I guess.
And we're here in the Fifth Base Gallery today. That's why we're speaking, aren't we?
Yes.
Got this
lovely Fifth Base Gallery. Yes.
This lovely Fifth Base Gallery on just off Brick Lane. So
yes, 23 Henage Street, just off Brick Lane.
And you've got a new piece, a whole suite of work, haven't you?
Yes.
You were telling me it took you a bit
year
of time to create.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't literally me sitting down for a whole year. I mean, but the work has spanned a year. So the first piece was, I think, January last year, and then I went to Tokyo. So I've got all the inspiration from that, and I started to work with Ayumi Lenore, who's the kind of collaboration. She's the sort of geisha model. She's not a model as such; she's more of a performer. But I've been working with her, so I've kind of had the Tokyo influence and then the geisha influence, and I got so much reference from that, and so many ideas. I've got too many ideas, and I've been painting them throughout the year, and it's kind of reached that point where it kind of like, it's time to show it. It's kind of, otherwise I could just paint forever and never, have a studio that fills up with work, and which is good because now my studio's empty. It feels very strange.
And that Far Eastern sort of element really comes across. I've seen a number of the geishas you've described them in the past to me. Is that what you'd still describe them as?
Yeah, no, well, it kind of is, but I mean, a lot of the new stuff, it's quite complicated for me to even get my head around it sometimes, because I just paint things. A lot of stuff just is quite intuitive, and I don't really. It's not something that I plan. It's just it comes out. But what I've done is I've tried to blend the idea of these kind of blurred cityscapes of Tokyo with all the lights with geisha. So I've kind of started to blur and distort the geisha, because it's all well and good painting these really beautiful portraits of Ayumi, who's stunning, but I really like the idea of painting the imperfect almost. So kind of this idea of movement as well, and light, and that kind of thing. So I've tried to cover all these bases, because there's all these things that are kind of exciting me that I have to try and get down on canvas. So it's kind of, too many things, too many ideas.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to capture a moment in time, like a photograph, but the shutter speed is slightly out.
Yeah, or it's like a glimpse. So it's kind of like you just see it and it's gone, and it's that sort of split second. It's not about posing a photograph and getting this perfect, sort of beautiful, perfect scene that's all symmetrical and stuff. It's more about sort of a crazy sort of moment, maybe falling over, and you just get this glimpse of something, and the geisha's all blurred and distorted, and it's kind of that. But I've also wanted to almost for my sort of just to make me happy, sort of paint things a bit more literally, almost to give it some context, so you can see sort of maybe a more literal cityscape or geisha, and then you can see how it's distorted and it kind of links with the landscape. So I quite like it. That. I don't know if that sounds nonsense or not.
I'll let the listener decide that. I mean, you're probably best known as a street artist.
Okay.
Is that something that you're still actively involved in? And what is it about the...
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's kind of... It's strange because I was just talking about this earlier, and it's kind of the street stuff's more. It feels more. I don't know. Not. It's a completely different aspect to the sort of canvas work, and it feels a lot freer, especially with like great big 30-foot murals. And it feels not restrictive, but it does feel a lot more considered to put it on canvas. So it's trying to keep that idea of the way I paint on the street stuff, which is really loose and energetic, and trying to keep that energy on canvas. So it's kind of I'm probably not answering your question at all, just going off at a tangent, but it's what was the question? Sorry.
It's just about street art, and I suppose you're a passionate guy, a passionate painter. You love that stuff. So what is it about painting on the street and interacting?
The best thing about street stuff, I can just off the top of my head, is scale. I mean, it's amazing to I mean, I do love doing canvas stuff because it is, like I say, it's nice and it's a sort of tangible object. But you can't beat the street stuff. You can't beat a 30-foot geisha on a sort of futuristic Tokyo. You just can't. It's just brilliant, and I just love that. The sense of achievement from doing those sorts of things is incredible. So it's like a real buzz that I put all this effort in, and I just did a similar size to that in Ayia Napa in Cyprus, and that was fantastic. And it was just such a cool place to paint. And then you step back, and all the scaffold comes down, and you've got this great big piece of artwork, and it's a buzz, real buzz.
And you seem to be going bigger and bigger.
Bigger's the best, isn't it? I mean, I did 22 metres in Birmingham, 22 metres high, which is 9 stories. I didn't enjoy. I don't like heights, but I kind of have to just get my head around it and get on with it. But you have to be careful because I sort of dance about quite a bit. Not literally dance, but I mean I'm moving about a lot when I paint, and if I'm 22 metres up, I have to be bloody careful. But yeah, big is good because it's all about, I don't know, I guess it's theatre, and it's kind of the lighting is quite dramatic, and a sense of scale gives it more drama. So it's all about kind of this big sort of theatrical thing. I don't want to do little sort of meek, little tiny things. It's got to be big, and I think theatre. I think it's kind of visual sort of theatre. God, that sounds pretentious.
Again, I'll leave it to the listener.
Please edit this out. Please edit.
And to give some idea of scale, because we're here at Fifth Base, and you've got that massive geisha just up there. How big is that?
I think it's 30 feet, so it's 3 stories, 30 by 15, 20 feet.
So that is pretty
like
impactful, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I mean, to be fair, that's a perfect orientation for a portrait. So, I mean, it's the perfect wall. It's the perfect size. It's the perfect wall. It's smooth. I love smooth surfaces. Don't like brick so much, but no windows in it. It's perfect. Really good. And right by the gallery, so you can't get better than that, really, can you? So it's perfect.
You can't.
No. But yeah, no, it's a good size. I mean, I like doing bigger. I've got some other walls lined up. I've got a lot of other walls lined up this year. Some bigger, some same sort of size. I've got some sort of longer landscape ones, which, I don't know what I'm going to paint, but things just appear. Quite often at the last minute as well. So I'll change my mind like that.
Well, we look forward to seeing them.
Good.
Dan, thanks very much.
Cheers. Thank you, Stuart.